Mr. Lynch, lives, only life, never. Good morning, Mr. Simply, Mr. Simply, more 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 simply, David, Lynch. It's February 10th. Sorry, 10 days is February 26, 2036. It's Tuesday in Naples. Today is once again totally cloudy. Yes, sir. Yes, totally wet, very cloudy, better see more getting white, this catastrophe in general, and it also seems to stay now. Perhaps also with the wine cold and heavy, see beer perhaps more heavy than cold, in general is wine heavy and cold, but in general this is wine, it's early afternoon, 13 and 15 minutes. 55 for Fahrenheit 13 Celsius, and this means it's really cold. This is for cold, scatches to formate appearance, support for the sequence, spec Shantan, for yes, June 17, spec to read for conference with the words last pass, general exam, last pass some, perhaps non remember for me, non glass pass some, I think on body. Spec to read for conference, second you to notes for doing to come to be assessed on December 21, party on 16 for 18 p.m. In Italy, perhaps non remember for boys on body and chains, supposing مشهورة توازي درمان سين سوسيتي سنتنس ما بروبوز effective to change its pattern but for me landing this you integral relations for spring some new it's for spring association soft for some agitated for auto once again yashi soft notas in general for season periods classicagity so as notas general for season so periods classicagity as regards degrees as for me all something you say hotel absolutely incomplete better non is weird because it's winter it's cold so we complain should complain but when in the sense absolutely incomplete I'm referring was referred to me particularly perhaps really for this period for fact that feel cold better perfect thanks for fact that feel cold better feel cold less another period thanks to series of practice che si better to practice I follow the notes it's a sense which always to fare cold when come in winter period winter weather period I always try to comment because check this primo tale su practice ne si che soprattutto nel fast part of this comment in asterisk so if someone is interested to notare su practice ne si che si ripete si fast part of this comment in asterisk or non fosse più frente think not because effect feel cold related think yes or no dispenso them at think 95% they feel cold or even in general in some way for me was good instead ma scatto sotto finché che in sé something just for me it's better to see can be some things get the after finché temperature si dice ripete se just before 55 for Fahrenheit 13 Celsius at parte in questa atmosfera si è anticipated before to this essere su cortine sono se cortine in genere ripezzata mi ci sono surf this suppose fa sono da se ripeti sky totally what the cloud perhaps more gray and what and considering according considering the strategy consider according to the reading consider sensation settings I think it's most sure that later after because lady early after to see also between late after Matt became dark, bleak, and also that even if let's see we have aviar rain because I think we're really close to the rain or latin let's see we see what happens. But as well as in Dublin, so wizards, sequence with significant comes today here. Bad. So si dice un medico, quindi non white cortine, green flowers, long flowers, mixed in plants, in curtain, some one converting some more also birthday. The breves particular birthday, to reap on the batch for the breves in curtain, in fact, all the things that we met, so the option is one of the comment section. Should be pointed out in first comment, perhaps for the comment where another measure the comment section. I don't know if you can see another study the world of the shot near me, for later think yes. See the green flowers, long flowers, mixed in plants. Or if not, even better, Julie better than I should try the first part of the video to which Perugia showed you weather scatter stranger from classical mythical window, classical mythical room, as absolutely so mythical window, mythical room. More from other perspective, also from Nisar Perkins shot sing another shot of him and more than Trassico Graps, November 1, 2002 infantry Maxat Lisa, more the beautiful recruiting the beautiful Pentabench, Rapus for the first to illustrate report, Cara recruiting infantry Maxat Lisa Shule, Cara recruiting still core image of the channel, and one day solamente Michel also saying this is shot, also related, effect, but for the recent shooter, also when there is, but more when there is, Joseph Kissy measure, I see the little picture sentence, saying is also for this. Volevo scurtare di before pente invece sta persona che fa fast scurtare cara first film sto roba part cara urteni e film persona che non rimane exactly this now se redizio so for using urteni so rimettere i vecchi expression persona che for fatta little speech sentence si dice but also always better visible for me its entity release shot si può si mythical the general shot. La sigla di cresciuta di un attivismo nel first days for ottobre. This important tool is important is that also today is not visible. Now see the speech sentence usually for the routine also for it is valid also for it. So I repeat once again, but also and always better visible for me its entity in this shot participantes mythical legend shot. And finally, from a mythical keyboard NGX 640 PG 625 also in the case from this mythical legend shot. And since a few weeks, particularly to precise towards January 24, I filmed a new shot in which you can see the actual condition of the keyboard, but the condition is in December 2nd, 2024. However, yes, you can see also this new condition of the keyboard, so it's a new shot. Yeah, victim of the people of Jean Deport is repeating it over. So I'm my sister. So myself across the skies and finally, Europe, you will get breakfast. Today it's late in general, so my ass fact, say late in for myself, even if as I'm repeating it's last December 31, top page for the first time. In fact, it's late in general, the people, and all for the record, my record. But not at all for us, kind of a normality in this period, let's say the winter period. Yes, in fact, make breakfast this house, but it's late. Well, but the whole important is that si fa for the regular action sembrano tutti su storia in fact back Felino sembra che sia stato di Felino parte di better thinking e milk di Felino parte mette fusi essere si finché tre regole sia che sembrano tutti su straccio vado a ripetere close the regole to some as if no more no the yes sì just before that just roll obviously just in quota 13 and 50 minutes. But the important thing is that we set in some way also today for the meter so non mi rilang and answer we always say ecco fa sono most buildings for absolutely as you know the most maniera at this point I think more than 1 year is I always lose the point to think like effect of the X reason so the new reason but in this moment better see the X from a reason it was the fifth in the story of the board the beautiful red black and so what and that if the point in comparison with the best from some aspects remember to me first one and second the story all things that perhaps if someone follow me in particular fare practice with the report think nobody because nobody which should my visual my reports materiali this should be done video and I promise you that one day or one time so many times you better the torneo stato così these things for me this speech and for the shots obviously not to joke because all the most funny and some for the biscuits are my favorite factor there are many beautiful combos with the beautiful biscuit and see I think at one mess out of types are chocolate chip cookies raw cookies chips chocolate chips and if I had a mistake I also have to biscuits in Lynch Nati in particolare, altri things that will use red and this first one, but milk fact to shot non così coffee but also the squid chocolate, fact to the fresh out and piece a shot and if last think se ogni monte sto che allo sullo sto punto ci mi sta via sono in tanto per better to more is quick così ti finisce now there is one thing brutti once I think 2022 23 years or say che allo sullo sto punto ci mi sta via sono in tanto per better and since that moment I patto insert dit once again the milk so very good news. Quindi si also affect cosa breakfast, questa bomba sta spiro in particolare mia bomba, mi fosse che sta spiro giocoso, lo che mazzo mossonia, so of course mi think to first time so that period, and if it's a also che tolla, di questa breakfast, questa mega bomba. Second thing is about CS fact if there are arbor CS strada Canada, garanzi irals, mi sa sempre questa position. Perhaps also che seguo first position down, the bomb matta, c'è una second position. Because after this position for Mina Italian Palm Dark Chocolate Chip Silas. Kakos, a true come nel medio, because they are really super bad. Neyse, tomorrow se poi fare un telefono, non ti tomorrow, ho tu quello di lepe. Ma well sì.